Welcome back. All right, so tonight's games, 6 of them. Only one went to overtime. Guess which one it was? California. California strikes yet again. It wasn't a 7:30 start, but it's a 7:30 start in our hearts, isn't it? All right, so we're going to start things off looking at the Nashville Predators and against Washington. The Preds do it again. It is interesting because I don't know that the Preds have had a great week themselves, but their goaltenders certainly have. So it's Lankinen versus Lindgren. The Caps press at 1.5 minutes. Forsberg then had a tip shot that was saved, but at 4:10 on a net drive, Novak scores. So Novak's starting to put up some goals. That was only the second shot of the game for Nashville. Caps press for an answer. Johansson has a shot, that's held. Oshie then had a rush chance, was saved. Caps draw a power play, that's killed off, but right after it ends, the Caps get on the board. It is Milano from Sherry and Orlov at 9:52, and basically Milano buries a rebound. No chance on that one for Lankinen. The shots are 14-6 for the Capitals with 9 minutes left. So all I could think was, so this is a carryover from the Carolina game. They're just going to allow another 60 shots. Poor Lankinen. Power play for the Predators, that's killed off, but then Trennan gets them the lead back. He tips one out of midair from Lauzon and Parson at 15:09. It just feels like that's in vogue right now, tipping the puck out of midair. So it makes it 2-1 with 3:54 left. The Preds go back to the power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Eller. That power play is killed off. It is 2-1 Nashville after one. Second period, Caps press at 2.5 minutes. Their shots are 4-2 Nashville, 4 minutes in. Yossi has a shot deflect wide. The Caps press at 6.5 minutes. Lots of zone time for the Caps in that second period. Very few shots to that point. Yossi has a net feed with a near miss. And then on a turnover, a rush, and a great pass, Obey Kubel gets another one. He scores from Gustafsson and Van Riemsdyk at 11:07. So Gustafsson stays hot as well. Caps then look for the lead. They end up getting a power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Granlund. That was held, but that power play is killed off. Caps press again with 4 minutes left. Niederreiter was then denied as Nashville presses before the period's out, but after 2 periods, the score's tied at 2. Third period, shots are 3-0 for the Caps at 4 minutes. Again, they're kind of leaning on their goalie. Good back and forth, 5.5 minutes in. Press by Nashville at 8 minutes. Some tight checking in this game and some momentum swings as well. It was a really entertaining game. Preds are leaning on their goaltender as we get into this third period, though. Oshie misses one wide from in close. We get a power play for Washington. That's killed off. Granlund then had a rush chance that was broken up. And then McDonough. If you're going to score your first goal with Nashville, you make it this one. It's a game winner. And he just backhanded it in on a net drive. It was a beautiful goal. Johansson and Duchesne with the assists at 16:44. It's 3-2 for Nashville. Caps press with 2 minutes left. They pull the goaltender. They get pressure. They can't tie it. Your final score is 3-2 for Nashville. They go to 17-14-6 with the win. The Capitals 22-14-6 with the loss. The shots in this one, 14-9 Washington in the first, 8-7 Nashville in the second, 11-4 Washington in the third. Final shots are 32-21 for Washington. Power plays, Nashville 0 for 2, Washington 0 for 3. Hits were 32-28 for Washington. Lankinen saves 30 out of 32, and Lindgren, 18 saves on 21 shots. So again, Nashville has a good shooting percentage, and their goaltender saves a bunch of shots. And that's the pattern right now for the Preds. It's working. All right, next up, Florida in against Detroit. So I wore Florida this morning. I had a feeling Florida would pull this off. I don't know that they have any chance of getting back into the playoff hunt. I think that's a bit of a reach right now, considering how far back they are and how many teams they have to jump past. But tonight's encouraging if you're a Florida fan in terms of the play of Bobrovsky and in terms of how they played with the lead in this one. So Bobrovsky versus Husso, early Tkachuk chance deflects out. And then on their first shot, Detroit scores. It's Berggren from Sherratt and Hronek at 1:06. But then at 2:33, Florida scores on their first shot. It's Forsling from Eric Stahl. That is the 600th assist in the career of Eric Stahl. And Giovanni Smith with the other assist. He, of course, formerly being of Detroit. So it's 1-1, 2.5 minutes in. Both teams have scored on their first shot. Looks like it could be a really high-scoring game. Spoiler alert, it's not. The fans call one. The referee does not. Sherratt had a screenshot. That was held. Luostarinen was then denied in close. The shots are 4-2 for the Wings with 9.5 minutes left. So that Luostarinen shot was the only shot to that point they had other than the Forsling goal. Kopp can't bury one in close. Reinhardt's then denied as the Panthers press. And then Tkachuk gets robbed in close. The shots evened up by the end of the period. The score is also even at 1. Second period. Wallman fires one high on a rush. The Wings press. That draws them a power play. Perron has a shot that's saved. The Panthers clear it out. That power play's killed off. The Panthers then rush right after. Panthers then get a power play and they score on it. It's Ekblad. Buries one in close from Barkov and Tkachuk at 6:28. Gudas then had a blast that was held. Panthers now with some momentum. Wings, though, they press with 9 minutes left. The Wings had some pushback in this one, absolutely. Tkachuk couldn't bury one in close. Bergeron then had a net feed. That's picked off. Hronek has a chance that's held. There's a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. Linesman gets hurt in the final minute. What happened was he tripped. He stepped on the puck and fell down. And so it's more of an embarrassing thing than anything else. But when you see a linesman down in the final minute, you do get concerned. Did he get hit with a puck? No, he stepped on a puck. And yeah, you don't get any... Your skate can't get any kind of traction on a puck, so you wipe right out. I'm sure there are a lot of people who watched that and went, I know how that feels. It kind of sucks. So we go to the third period with the score 2-1 in favor of Florida. There was a post for Wallman early, so both the second and the third Wallman's on the board early. Raymond's denied, the Wings press. Cousins then had a rush chance that saved. The shots are 4-2 Detroit at 4.5 minutes. The power play then goes to Detroit shortly thereafter. Florida kills that off. Panthers then get a power play and they score on theirs. They were very efficient on their power play, and again, it's Ekblad. He scores from Barkov and Montour at 8:10. So Barkov with a couple of assists on the power play, Ekblad with the power play markers, and it was Ekblad burying a rebound. So up by 2, the Panthers go to a 1-2-2 setup. So that's 1 forechecker, 2 in the middle, and 2 behind. It is tough to break that up. It is tough to break that up. That's as close to a trap as you get now. You can't play a traditional trap because with the red line taken out of the NHL game now, you can just pass around the trap. It's part of the reason the red line was taken out. Lindstrom has a blast that's held with 6:18 left. The Wings go back to the power play. That was unsuccessful. The goalie gets pulled with 3:50 left, and on a face-off win at 16-17, Detroit gets a goal. It's Fabry. He scores his first since his return to action, his first goal since March. Hronek and Kopp with the assists on that one. So Kopp on the board there, and all of a sudden it's a 3-2 game. Wings press for the tie. They pull the goaltender with 1:45 left. With 39.5 seconds left, it goes to a 6-on-4 with a power play. Florida does kill that, and they win this one 3-2. They go to 18-18-4 with the win. For the Detroit Red Wings, they're 16-14-7 with the loss. And they get to play again tomorrow. Shots are 6 apiece in the first, 12-7 Detroit in the second, 13-7 Detroit in the third. Final shots 31-20 for the Wings. Power plays, Florida went 2 for 2. Detroit went 0 for 5. That's your story right there. The hits were 20-20. Bobrovsky, 29 saves on 31 shots. Husso saved 17 out of the 20. So Florida, a team whose special teams have let them down for a lot of this season, tonight they didn't. So there are some encouraging signs if you're a Florida fan that maybe things are about to turn around. Maybe. But they still need some help if they're going to get back into the hunt. All right, Tampa Bay. So the Bolts in against the Winnipeg Jets. This turned out to be a pretty darn good game. Vasilevsky versus Hellebuck. Hellebuck again tonight making an argument that he needs to be one of the front runners for the Vezina. I don't know if it's going to continue all season, but to this point, he's definitely one of the front runners. Early press by Tampa Bay. Good early flow to this game as well. The Bolts were leading in shots 2-1 at 5.5 minutes. Not a lot of whistles early on in this one. Bolts press. The Jets are busy shot blocking. Sergachev fires one wide. The Jets clear it out. Bolts press again. They're kept to the outside, though. The Jets doing a good job of keeping them away from prime opportunities. The Jets, though, need to start generating chances. So to this point, just Tampa Bay keeping it in their zone. And it doesn't really matter if you're blocking shots and keeping them to the outside or not. You leave them in your zone long enough, they'll score. So Stamkos is denied in close, but then Cirelli ends up burying a rebound. Stamkos with the initial shot, that was at 11:48. So Stamkos doesn't get a goal, but he does get on the board with a helper there. That makes it 1-0 for Tampa. So Maroon then had a net drive that was saved. The Bolts press. So this looks like it could get ugly in favor of Tampa Bay, right? The Jets, though, they get a power play. Back-to-back clears by the Bolts. They end up killing that off. Lowry to Kuhlman, a near miss there as the fourth line's trying to generate something. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. There's a last minute press by the Jets, and then Dubois. What happened was this goal was originally credited to Kyle Connor. This is during the 4-on-4 as well. I guess Dubois had the tip in front, but Connor with a really nice play there. He outweights everybody and makes it work. Morrissey with the other assist at 19:21. So Morrissey continues to put up points. So that's during the 4-on-4, and then we go to the second period with the score 1-1. Early press by Tampa Bay, and eventually they score. Kucherov scores from Cole and Cirelli at 135. And the Jets are still having trouble generating offense. They came out of that first period tied, but they only had 4 shots. And early in the second period, they're having trouble again. Power play for the Jets, it becomes 1:27 of 5-on-3, and they score during that. Dubois scores from Morrissey and Scheifele at 7:05. The 5-on-4 gets killed by Tampa. The Jets go back to the power play. So penalty trouble for Tampa at this point in the game. Morrissey has a blast that's saved. Schmidt fires one wide. That's killed off. The Bolts then get a power play. Stamkos has a blast that's held, as Tampa Bay is, of course, looking for the lead. Jets press with 2 minutes left. The Bolts then press back with a minute left in the period. So really good back and forth action in this one at this point. So we go to the third period. Early jump for Tampa. There's a post for Cirelli as the Bolts press. Stamkos fires one wide. The Jets, 2-on-1. That draws a power play. We then had 1:54 of 5-on-3. And during the 5-on-3, they score. It's Connor from Scheifele and Morrissey at 5:38. Wheeler then kind of ran over Vasilevsky, makes it a 4-on-4, and drew a crowd, as running over Vasilevsky will do. Sergachev has a shot blocked. That's all killed off. We then had a fight between Colton and Scheifele, and Scheifele looked fired up in the box about that one. How do you fight with a guy that doesn't swear? I mean, Scheifele doesn't swear on the ice. So, anyways, maybe it was a glove slap. Bolts get a power play. Stamkos is robbed during that. He's looking for goal 499, of course. That's killed off. Point defends the Dubois rush with 1:52 left. The Bolts get a power play, so they pull the goaltender to make it a 6-on-4. That allows Barron to get a shorthanded goal, an empty net goal, and do it on a wraparound. He scores that one from Lowry at 18:34. There's your insurance. Winnipeg wins this one 4-2. They go to 25-13-1. Tampa Bay drops to 24-13-1. They do struggle on the road. The shots in this one, 12-4 Tampa in the first, 9-5 Winnipeg in the second, 11-7 Tampa in the third. Final shots, 28-20 for the Bolts. Tampa goes 0-4 on the power play. Winnipeg 2-6. So again, special teams a big part of that one. Shots are the hits are 31-11 for Winnipeg. Vasilevsky saves 16 out of 19. Hellebuck saves 26 out of 28, and I have to change boards. Okay, now, the game that we were all waiting for, and I knew I'd have to wear Chicago garb. I don't wear Chicago very much for recaps because they don't win very often. So I was like, all right, I got to take advantage. So it was Ingram versus Stalock. No Patrick Kane, of course. I have to say, Stalock's having a pretty good year. I wonder if, with the goalie market being as it is, could they put Stalock out there and could somebody pick him up as a backup option? There's that possibility at the deadline, right? So a post and early jump for the Coyotes, and posts, yeah, that's about as close as the Coyotes are going to get tonight. Chychrun defends a rush by Reichel. I wanted to say Eichel, but it's Reichel. Hawks had the lone shot on net at 4:30. So Coyotes with some misses and a post early on. There's a power play for the Hawks. Seth Jones has a shot that's held. Good cycle. That's killed off. Post then for Kurashev right after. So the posts are getting a workout. The shots on net are 7-1 for Chicago at the half. So Arizona's a little slow on the uptake here. Reichel fires one high in a rush. Gostisbehere has a screenshot that's held. We get some pushing after that. Hawks press in the final minute. Domi has a one-timer that's denied. It's scoreless after one. Second period. Shots are one apiece at 3.5 minutes. It was not an exciting game. That will surprise not very many people watching this. Coyotes press at 5.5 minutes. Hayton's denied and close. Then we get some pushing. Hawks press. That draws them a power play. Seth Jones has a shot that's tipped wide. That's killed off. But Chicago opens the scoring. At 11:55, it's McCabe from Seth Jones and Domi. With 5 minutes left in the period, the shots are 9-7 for the Hawks. So they controlled a lot of this, and from there, they controlled most of the rest of the period as well. Reese Johnston's denied on a fast break. Seth Jones then missed wide on a net drive. Chicago's driving a lot of the action late in the second period. They're up 1-0. We're going to the third. Pass from Boyd to Krause in front of the net. Doesn't quite connect. Coyotes had the only shot on net 3 minutes into the period. Kurashev has a net drive. That's defended. Bukestad has a shot that saved the Coyotes press. Valimaki and Carconi were denied, so they made Stalock work for it tonight. Stalock was the reason that the Hawks are in front at this stage of the game. The Coyotes get a power play. The Hawks don't let him set up. Late in the power play, Boyd has a shot that's blocked. That's killed off. Seth Jones has a shot deflect wide. The Hawks are forechecking with 5.5 minutes left. They were the better team in this one. I don't know how I feel about that. So McCabe has a screenshot that's saved. Things get pushy after a save by Stalock. Cini then fires one high on a rush. Cini playing for the Hawks now. That's a name you haven't heard from me in years. Hawks preventing the goalie pull until about 1.5 minutes left. Then there's an icing by Chicago with 56.9 seconds left. So the Coyotes get together. They discuss things in a timeout. Whatever they discuss, doesn't matter. Tyler Johnson hits the empty net. Taves and Lafferty with the assists at 19:14. Chicago wins 2-0, minus Patrick Kane. They go to 9-25-4 with the win. Arizona 13-20-5. I think that's 7 losses in a row, or it's 6 or 7 losses in a row for Arizona. The shots in this one: 12-5 Chicago in the first, 14-8 Chicago in the second, 9-6 Arizona in the third. Final shots 32-22 for the Hawks. Power plays, Arizona only had the one, didn't score on it. Chicago was 0 for 2. Hits 21-19 Chicago. Ingram was good, 31 saves on 32 shots. Stalock saves all 22 shots for his 10th career shutout. Good for him. I didn't put up the Tony the Tiger magnet. I apologize. That's 2 nights in a row. Bad hockey guy. You create this brand new magnet thing and then you don't even use it. And this is why your channel's on the downturn. So, yeah. But it wasn't a night with a ton of scoring anyways. So there's that too. But yeah, Chicago wins one. Surprise, surprise. All right, next up. Calgary at home against the Islanders. The Islanders, they look like a team that's on a long road trip now. And for the Islanders, this has been a tough road trip, and I'm starting to wonder if the Islanders are going to be the team that I'm not going to say will sink out of the race, but I don't think they're going to be favored to end up making the playoffs with the way things have been going for them. It's Varlamov versus Markstrom. The Islanders had the only shot on goal 3 minutes into it, but at 4:36 on their first shot, which was a storyline tonight, Lucic scores from Huberdeau. It's nice to see Lucic with 3 goals now. Flames press for another. Eventually they get it. Third shot on net goes in. It's Coleman from Mangiapane and Backlund at 6:05. And then the Flames are a post away from being 3-0. The shots on net are 4 apiece at the half, and 2 of the Flame shots have gone in. Tanev has a net feed, near miss there, and then Zadorov adds one from Lewis at 14:21. Zadorov has 6 goals. That feels like a lot for Nikita Zadorov. Parise, though, would answer with a minute left from Pajot and Mayfield at 19 minutes. He wires it far corner. Nice little transition chance there for the Islanders. But on the next shift to close out the period, the Flames did press. So it's 3-1 after 1. Second period, Huberdeau to Kadri, near miss there. Shots are 2-0 for the Flames at 4.5 minutes. The Islanders get a power play. The Flames don't let them set up. That's killed off. Then there's a power play for the Flames that follows. Kadri has a rush chance that's saved. That's killed off. Cizikas was then denied on a break out of the box. You've always got to watch that player coming out of the penalty box. Flames go back to the power play. That was killed off. And on a little press after, Varlamov does hold the puck. Flames press with 6 minutes left. There's a post for Dubé as the Flames press some more. Pajot was denied on a net drive. And then Lewis had a net drive as well in that final minute. That was held by Varlamov. So no scoring in the second. It's still 3-1 Calgary going to the third period. Stone defended a lead chance early in that third period. Fashing had a near miss. The Flames cleared out. Backlund then with a near miss. Good flow to that third period. Really, the Flames trying to kill the clock quickly. Cizikas was denied. Markstrom really solid in this game. And then it's Nazem Kadri, who might have been the best Flame tonight. Scores from Toffoli and Weegar at 6:59. Kadri named to the All-Star game. I guess that fired him up. They did name Kadri, right? I didn't get into the All-Star game stuff today because, to be honest, I really have no concern about the All. We make a big deal every year on this channel about the All-Star game, and it doesn't matter. The day after the All-Star game's done, we've all forgotten about it. So it's wired top corner. I'll do something about the All-Star game, but I'm not going to complain about who is or isn't there. The Islanders press for a response. Kadri has a shot. That deflects out. The Flames press with 3.5 minutes left. I guess I could do my own All-Star teams. Well played third period, I thought, by the Calgary Flames. So, yeah, they end up winning this one 4-1. There really wasn't any tension in this. They go to 19-14-7 with the win. The Islanders 22-17-2 with the loss. So they lost in Seattle, they won in Vancouver, lost in Edmonton, and now lose in Calgary tonight. Last night it was 4-2. Tonight it's 4-1. The shots, 8-6 Islanders in the first, 9-8 Calgary in the second, 8-6 Islanders in the third. The final shots, 24-21 for the Islanders. Power plays, the Islanders 0 for 1, Calgary 0 for 2. The hits, 30-19 for the Islanders. Varlamov saved 17 out of 21. Markstrom saved 23 out of 24 and continues to improve his numbers. He's been doing that lately, and so nice to see him doing that for another game tonight. All right, last game up, it's California. It has to go to overtime. I was sure that the goal was going to be taken back, but we will discuss it because I'm sure there are people who are watching this saying, how did that goal count? Well, it's the Makar situation all over again. So, and this one actually is the Makar situation. So it's Kakinen versus Stolars. 38 seconds in, San Jose gets the lead. It's Nieto from Barabanov and Vlasic. He buries a rebound on a rush. So it looked like this one was going to be crazy, and it did kind of turn out that way. Sharks go for another. Benito nearly gets an own goal. Got to be careful with tipping those ones back. The shots are 6-3 for the Sharks at 4 minutes. Couture then fires one wide on a 3-on-2. And then San Jose gets the 2-0 lead. It's Lawrence from Carlson and Gadjevich at 6:03. And then Gadjevich, with an assist, decides, I might as well get the fight out of the way. And he has a fight with Carrick. They had a fight in the last game too. You might as well have another one. People love sequels. And then at 6:38, Zegras celebrates the fight by getting Anaheim on the board from Klingberg and Vetrano. That makes it 2-1. It was a great pass by Klingberg, and Zegras blasts it home. Ducks get a power play. Vetrano ends up hitting the post twice. 2 posts for Vetrano. Then that was killed off. The Ducks then get a 4-minute power play. That ends up being a 4-on-4 after the first 2 are killed off. At any rate, during the 4-on-4, Strome ties the game from McTavish and White at 14:15. Strome just tips it in front, and it's a tie game. Sharks get another power play. That's killed off. The Ducks press with 2.5 minutes left, but it's 2-2 after 1. Second period. Sharks press. Comtois steals it. Kirkland has a shot that's tipped aside. The shots are 3-1 for the Sharks at 4 minutes. Physical play was picking up at this point. Harrington has a shot that's held, and then Meyer. A goal that was Labank's for the longest time, to the point where I changed it from Meyer to Labanc, and then it ends up being given to Meyer, so I switch it back. So it's Meyer from Labanc and Hurdle at 10:16. Screenshot, and I put with a question mark tipped in front. Yeah, it was tipped by Meyer, so they did recognize that. Shots are 12-3 for the Sharks with 7.5 minutes left. But on their 4th shot, Anaheim scores. And it's one of those weird ones where it goes off to Stanchion, and Kakinen was out of the net, so McTavish buries it on his second try. Kakinen did get in and save the first. Silverberg and Benoit with the assists at 13:06. That's why you need to stay in the net until it's come off those stanchions or not. But Meyer answers from Labanc and Benning at 13:20. And again, they gave the goal to Labanc. Into the third period, it still said Labanc. So it switched to Meyer during the third period. Ducks press to answer. Klingberg is robbed on a 2-on-1. But going into the third, San Jose's up 4-3. And I foolishly thought, San Jose should be able to bring this home. They shouldn't have to worry about this game getting tied and going to overtime. I shouldn't have to worry about that. Well, guess what? Sharks 9-1-2, and they're leading after 2. That record gets a little bit worse today. Ducks press. Terry fires one wide. Things get pushy after a save by Kakinen. Vetrano has a shot. That's held. The shots are 4-2 for Anaheim, 6.5 minutes in. Ducks press are kept to the outside. Sturm's denied. The Ducks then rush. Benoit with a net drive. That's held. The Ducks tie it. It's an offside challenge, and it counts. Now, from what I can tell, here's why. So McTavish is bringing the puck in across the line. Henrique is in ahead of the puck, but he tags up before McTavish touches the puck. That's the only reason I can see why that would count, and why it would take so long for the linesman to call it. Or, because it was a goal on the ice, they couldn't prove that Henrique didn't tag up. Even Dave Jackson, who's like, of course, the official ESPN has for these, he was kind of like, well, I guess it was a tag up. So he was guessing as well. And that's my thought, is that Henrique managed to tag up at the blue line before the puck is touched again by McTavish. The exact same situation as the Makar goal in the playoffs this past season. So it counts, and that means it's a power play for the Sharks. Again, if I was the coach of the Sharks, I would have challenged it too, because it would have been like, well, clearly that's what I said initially was, well, clearly that's offside. And I left the room, came back in, they're still reviewing it. I'm like, why are they still reviewing this? They should be at the next commercial break already, because that can't be a goal. But then I looked on the replay, I looked at everything that happened, and when they called it a good goal, I'm like, all right, so Henrique tagged up. So there's the explanation. I know it won't make everybody happy, but that's the NHL's reasoning. Terry's then denied on the resulting power play. San Jose did kill that. It ends up going to overtime. San Jose 2-4 in overtime. Anaheim 4-2 in overtime. Sharks control early, but they turn it over, and then on the first shot of overtime, it's in the net. Klingberg from Terry and McTavish at 1:08. So it was the rush on the turnover, and Anaheim wins 5-4 in overtime. They win 3-4 against San Jose. None of them in regulation. So for San Jose, they're 1-0-3 against Anaheim. Anaheim's 3-1 against San Jose. It's one of those NHL-like things where both teams have a winning record against each other. San Jose ends up 12-20-8 with the 5-4 overtime loss. For the Ducks, they're 12-24-4. They've won 5 out of their last 10. Yeah, it's weird. So the shots in this one, 13-10 San Jose in the first, 20-9 San Jose in the second, and 9-8 Anaheim in the third. In the overtime, Anaheim gets the only shot. That's the one that matters. Final shots are 41-29 for San Jose. Power plays, San Jose 0 for 2, Anaheim 0 for 4. The hits were 21-17 for San Jose. Kakkonen, another rough night for him, 24 saves on 29 shots. And Stolarz saves 37 out of 41. Stolarz, I think, now is 8-1 in his career against San Jose. I think he was 7-1 coming into tonight. Not too shabby. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.